This is probably going to sound a bit weird coming from a pastor, but to be honest, the things of faith have not always been easy for me. Throughout my life, I've wrestled with questions about God. Do I believe these things simply because it's what other people believe and I'm supposed to believe what they believe? Is this some kind of fairy tale that someone made up and I've affirmed it, we've affirmed it, people before me affirmed it just to have control over people? But I want you to know today, as we continue in our series, Long Story Short, I want you to know that I think there are extraordinary reasons why we should and we can believe in Jesus. I think they are quite compelling to people who are willing to have an open mind and think about the things of God. The problem most people have is not are the claims of Jesus true. The problems most people have is if they are true, then God gets to be in charge. The implication of these things being true is I don't agree that God gets to rule the world, so I'm just going to disregard all the things he said. I don't like the way God's plan, his moral approach lays out, so I'm just going to disregard the things of Jesus. So from the very beginning, a lot of people reject Christianity simply because they don't want the ramifications of it all being true. They just say it can't be true. It creates too many problems for me. And let's be honest, we're all inwardly biased, so I want to encourage you today, regardless of how you walked into the room, to open your mind. And I'm fully aware that there are people here that doubt stuff that comes out of my mouth every Sunday. We had someone at my dining room table a couple of years ago that came to our church faithfully, and he said, "Pastor Brett, I need you to know I'm not on Team Jesus." And I was like, "That's fine." And he goes, "No, I don't believe in all the things you believe." I was like, "That's fine." And he kind of was looking at me like, "I'm allowed to come if I don't believe?" Yes, because this is a great place to investigate the truths of Jesus. I'm fully aware that there are people like that in the room, and you have good questions. My question for you is this, though. Are you willing to doubt your doubts if the evidence demands it? Are you willing to consider evidence if it's put right in front of you, that you would have an open enough mind that you would allow it to speak to you? Now, I always grew up in the Air Force. My dad was an Air Force officer. I grew up wanting to be a CIA agent. I blame it on James Bond. I know he wasn't a CIA agent, but the British version. Then Jason Bourne comes along, and I was definitely in. Again, I know Jason Bourne's not in the CIA, but you get my point. Like, those guys live extravagantly great lives. But as you look into the CIA, you find out all kinds of great things. And one of the things that I love is when the CIA needs to identify a double agent, someone that's an agent for another country, but we flipped them, and they need to identify them to ourselves. There is no lack of evidence that that double agent is on our side, right? There was a Soviet double agent who fled to Mexico, and he wanted to contact the U.S. Embassy, but the U.S. Embassy gave him 6 different signs that he was to perform so that the U.S. would know that he was going to be on their side. So this is what they said. Check this out. When in Mexico City, he was to, number 1, write a letter to the secretary signing his name as I. Jackson. And after 3 days, number 2, he was to go to the Plaza de Colón in Mexico City. Number 3, stand before the statue of Columbus with, number 4, his middle finger pointing at the guidebook that he was holding in his left hand, right? And when he was approached by someone and they were to ask about it, he was to use the phrase, "This is a magnificent statue." The problem is he's Russian and he sounds Russian. And so when they asked him about the statue and he said, "This is a magnificent statue," his Russian accent came out, and he was supposed to, number 6, to prove who he was, say, "I'm only visiting from Oklahoma," which is just hilarious. Like, where did that even come from? But you see all of the steps to prove identity. This is what we're going to look at today, and as we continue in our Long Story Short series. We're going to look at the book of Isaiah, and our Long Story Short series has been based on a book called the Jesus Storybook Bible. You might look at it and go, "That's a kid's Bible. That's a children's Bible, Pastor Brett. Why are you preaching from that?" Because I think Sally does a magnificent job of capturing the hearts of passages that you and I have gotten very familiar with in church life. But what she does is she encapsulates it in a way that children can understand and adults can have our minds and our creativity reopened. So we're going to start in Deuteronomy, but we're going to make our way to Isaiah. Deuteronomy chapter 18 starts in verse 21. And if you say in your heart, how may we know the word that the Lord has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the word does not come to pass or come true, that is a word that the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. If a prophet speaks something ill, doesn't come true, it's untrue, it's something misleading, then it did not come from God, it came from there. Did you know 25% of your Bible is prophecy? Did you know that? 25, 1 out of every 4 words has to do with God predicting things, foretelling things that have not happened yet, often in great detail. Almost all of the prophecy has to do with God telling us about the rescue plan, that he's going to send a rescuer, that in the Hebrew is the Hebrew word Mashiach, where we get Messiah. There are 322 direct prophecies specifically about minor prophets, shorter, smaller books. One of them, Isaiah, is a great representation. He's a great example of all of what happens in the major prophets. And Isaiah's writings point us to the main subject of prophecy, foretelling somewhere in the future, and his name, just guess, is Jesus in Isaiah. He also gives us a taste of the miraculous nature of the prophecies. But here's what I want to do with the prophecies that are all throughout Isaiah today. We're going to look at it through the context and give me a little creative freedom of the Jesus Storybook Bible. And you might look at it, you're like, you're actually going to quote a children's Bible. I 100% am going to do that. One, because we've encouraged you since last year when we started this series to read the Jesus Storybook Bible. Especially if you have children or grandchildren, and as we've been preaching through it, to lead them through the stories that we've been going through. Second, again, I think she does a fabulous job of capturing the bigger picture of the book of Isaiah. And sometimes what happens when you read Isaiah is you get so bogged down in the specifics and the particulars that you miss the bigger picture. And third, like C.S. Lewis said, if a children's book is not worth reading as an adult, it's not worth reading at all. Can I get an amen from the reading teachers in the room? So I'm going to reference some verses that are actually the way that the author writes them in the Jesus Storybook Bible. I usually use the English Standard Version of all of the verses, but I'm actually going to use her writing today, but they're all based on verses. Like this first one from Isaiah 40:11 and chapter 53:6. Here's how she writes it. Dear little flock, you're all wandering away from me like sheep in an open field. You've always been running away from me, and now you're lost. You can't find your way back. And this is the substance of the entire Bible message to you and to me. Since the Garden of Eden, we have all been running somewhere, anywhere but here. And now what Isaiah is telling us, we all like sheep have gone astray. We are like the sheep who each one believes he knows the best way and chooses his own way. And most of you probably do not have a lot of experience with sheep. And it might surprise you, neither do I. But those of you who do say sheep are particularly unruly animals. Sheep are notoriously dumb animals. They will walk right into harm's way. They will walk right up to the edge of the cliff and off the cliff. They will go into the moving stream of the river and drown. And they have particularly bad eyesight. All of us in the room with bad eyesight, amen, we can relate, right? They can only see a few feet ahead of them. And their heads, if you ever see them, they hang down, looking down at the ground. They are not thinking about what the future holds for them. They don't have keen insight about what tomorrow holds. All they care about is, where is the next bite of grass for me to eat? And when they look up, do you know what they see? The butt of the sheep that is right in front of them. When sheep fall over, they often get what's called cast. And you can think of it like a turtle. When a turtle is upside down, it can't get itself back up. So when a sheep is over, someone has to come along, a shepherd has to come along and flip them back over, or they just lay there and die. This has all kinds of symbolism for us, even though it's quite unflattering for us to consider ourselves as sheep. We are all in some way confused. We're all spiritually wandering, prone to wander, Lord, I feel it, prone to leave the God I love. She summarizes chapter 40, verse 11 this way, but I can't stop loving you. I'll come to find you. This is God saying to you, so I am sending you a shepherd to look after you and love you, to carry you home to me. Now maybe you have come into church and your church experience is, I come to church so that I can earn my way to God. I come to church to find my way to God. I come to church so that I can do. That's not the gospel. The gospel is very clearly that God is on a rescue mission for you. God is the one who came searching for you, not that you went searching for God. You see, the Bible is a book about God's attempt to find man, not a book for man's attempt to find their way back to God. God does this, chapter 43, verse 4, because you are precious in my eyes and honored, and I love you. Think about how precious you are to God. Think about it this way. What is something that is precious to you? I know for me, my wife, my daughter, my sons, I love seeing pictures of my kids smiling. I had the incredible opportunity to baptize each one of my children. Those things are precious to me. So God's telling you this morning, I am the shepherd, the good shepherd, and you are the sheep. Everybody practice your good bah. See, you're good at it. Jesus is the shepherd. And in Luke chapter 15, he says this. He says, what man of you having 100 sheep, if he has lost one of them, how many are left then? If he loses one? 99. I know some of you are like, but we're not even back in school. Why are we doing math in church? If he's lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the one that is lost until he finds it. And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends, his neighbors, saying to them, rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost. Stop for a moment. If you are familiar with this passage, it probably has failed to impact you how bad of a financial plan this is. You're only losing 1%. You are putting 99% of your money in harm's way. And that's what you do when every single one of them is precious to you. We went skiing at Copper Mountain a couple of years back, me and the boys, Zachary and Jacob. And we were skiing. Trisha was sick back at the condo, so we were skiing on the back bowls. And as we were coming down, I could see Zach. Zach's my cautious skier. How many people have a cautious skier in your house? Right? Zach's my cautious skier. And then Jake was supposed to be on this side. How many people do have the not cautious skier in your house? Yeah, that would be Jake. And I look over my shoulder, there is no Jacob. And I could have at this moment thought to myself, like, I have a daughter who's safe in her house. I have a son who's right here. He's the backup kid anyway. Like, I don't even really need him. No one thinks this way because they're precious to us. Right? Isaiah 49:15, can a woman forget her nursing child, that she should have no compassion on the son of her womb? When we had our children, Trisha developed a superpower, right? She can hear anything in the house. Any men you have a wife like this? Right? And literally anything in the house. I used to go around telling people at church, they'd be like, man, how is it with young kids in your house? I'm like, man, they sleep through the night at 4 weeks old. People are like, wow. And then I come to find out I was sleeping through the night at 4 weeks. Trisha was on up with the kids. But God is telling us all throughout the book of Isaiah, I'm going to do more than just go after the one sheep. Look at chapter 53, verse 4. Surely he has borne our griefs, carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. So you have this good shepherd not only goes out and finds the one that's missing, he's going to, newsflash, I'm going to ruin the end of the story, but you've had a couple thousand years to read it. He's going to give his life for the sheep. What kind of shepherd does that? Again, this is a horrible financial plan if you think about it. The life of a sheep is not worth the life of a human. What would you say if your kid came up this morning and they saw your dog running across the highway, and they get up and they start running across the highway to save the dog, and they get hit by a bus? Is that an even swap? I know you guys are like, do you hate dogs? No, I love dogs. We should make this a cat story. But it would work much better. But you wouldn't look at your kid and be like, man, that is amazing. That was so brave, so wise. You would look at your kid, you would grab them by the coat, and you would say, there is no dog worth your life. So why would a good God, a good creator God, give his life for you and for me? That is crazy. But that's exactly the crazy love that God has for you and for me. And a lot of time we don't even love him back. Think back to middle school or whenever you had your first crush. Maybe it was third grade, I don't know. But you had that crush on that one person. You won't even go talk to them. They don't even know you exist. And you love them even though they never love you back. And as you get older, you realize that's really dumb to spend emotions on people who are never going to love you back. And one of the most amazing parts of the Bible is that we see there's a loving God who loves people. He gives himself as a ransom for many. He dies on our behalf, even though many of us will never love him back. And yet God relentlessly pursues us and them and his love for them. He lays down his life for them. What kind of love is that? Is there any words? Is there sentences that we could put together that would adequately describe that kind of love? Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1. You've been stumbling around like people in a dark room. But into the darkness, a bright light will shine. It will chase away all the shadows like sunshine. You see, without God, our lives feel like they're caught in this perpetual darkness. Life has an uncanny way of becoming dark real quick. Can I get a hearty amen on that one? And you thought everything was fine, and then suddenly that happens. Paul Tripp, a great author, Christian thinker, he had a daughter who was crushed up against a wall by an unlicensed drunk driver. She was in critical condition for 4 years, but by God's grace, she's survived. Paul Tripp says this, had we not known that behind everything was a loving God who promised to work everything for good, who promised to ultimately heal all things in this life or the next, I'm not sure how we would have made it. To not know that would have been to have been in total darkness, not knowing where to turn, only despair. You ever been there? Like, could there be any purpose? Is there any hope? So we just stumble around looking for happiness or diversion or whatever. Jesus enters into that kind of darkness. Jesus shows us what the real problem is. Jesus shows us what we're missing. He shows us that we're created for more and that our lives will always feel incomplete until he is at the center of it all. Jesus shows us in the darkness, it's not supposed to be this way. This isn't supposed to be part of your lives. Jesus shows us there's a real enemy who should be and will be eventually destroyed by his righteous right hand. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14. Here's the plan. He's going to give us the plan. A little baby will be born, a royal son. His mommy will be a young girl who doesn't have a husband. His name will be Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us. He is one of King David's children. One of King David's children's children. This child, there will be a child born one day, Isaiah says, that will be God with us and will be from the line of David. And we've already looked at King David in this series. This summer, we talked about King David representing the best and the worst of humanity. You see, for the Jewish people, the nation of Israel, David had always represented being the ideal man, the great king. But even outside of Judaism, David represents all of this grandeur. We were in Italy this summer, and we kept seeing King David after King David after King David, and the art and the statues all over the cities we would visit. And he shows us how great a man could be, but he also shows us how much of a disappointment a man could be. Just a few weeks ago, we saw David betray his friend, slept with his wife, murdered him, covered it all up. But see, the Messiah is like David, but totally unlike David. He's both the Son of God and the Son of David. He's the Son of Man, so he could die in our place, but he's also the Son of God, so he can bring healing to us. Chapter 53, verse 2, yes, someone is going to come and rescue you. Can I have a hearty amen on that? Someone in the room needs to hear that. I don't know what you're facing, but he's coming. He ain't done yet. If you're not dead, he's not done. There is some reason he's allowing for you to come, to be going through what you're going through. He is going to come and rescue you, but he won't be who anyone expects. He will be a king, but he won't live in a palace, and he won't have a lot of money. He'll be poor, and he'll be a servant. But this king will heal the whole world. Like David, the shepherd boy, everyone overlooked David, if you remembered the picking of King David. This king will not be one who amazes us with his power and his wealth. This king will posture himself as a servant like the poor. And that is exactly what enables Jesus to heal us. And that is exactly what helps us see his true glory far better than any display of power and might and wealth ever could have. Just think about it this way. God didn't have to pick the Jesus answer. He could have just glorified himself through one single act of judgment. He could have just been like, whoop-a, ding, wipe the earth clean. Y'all are sinners? Would you look at your neighbor and remind them, you're a sinner? Some of you, that's the best marriage counseling I can give you right now. You're like, that feels so good. But God's glory isn't revealed in just crushing sinners. It's also in the fact that he's going to bring justice, yes, but he is saving us. And if you reject the offer of grace, the offer of love that God has for you, he's going to put that judgment on display. It is clear throughout the book of Isaiah, God would prefer to be glorified instead by saving you. But he's going to be glorified either way. Look at chapter 2, verse 4. He will be a hero. He will fight for his people. He will rescue them from their enemies, but he won't have big armies and he won't fight with swords. So this Messiah that the nation of Israel is looking for is not going to fight with swords. His aim to fight with is healing and saving, not getting revenge. Jesus would have been the original Avengers movie, but he didn't need to say Avenger up. He was the only one that needed to be there. So when it came time for blood to be shed and punishment to be doled out, Jesus took it on himself. And again, if you reject that, the next time he comes, he is bringing a sword, and he is not afraid to use it. Start in chapter 11, verse 9. He'll make the blind see. He'll make the lame leap like deer. He'll make everything the way it was always meant to be. But people will hate him, and they won't listen to him. He'll be like a lamb. He'll suffer and die, but he won't stay dead. But I'm not dead yet. I will make him alive again. And one day when he comes back to rule forever, the mountains and the trees will dance and sing for joy. The earth will shout out loud. His fame will fill the whole earth as the waters cover the sea. Everything sad will come untrue. Even death is going to die, and he will wipe away every tear from every eye. That's beautiful. Jesus is going to heal the entire earth. You begin to see a glimpse of that in the resurrection of Jesus. One day, Jesus will do to the earth what he did to his own dead body when he rose from the dead. Do you know 2/3 of evangelical Christians do not believe that we have a physical body in heaven? Jesus does, so I'm going to stick with that. Heaven is a real place. It has oceans and beaches and trees and 14ers. It's called the new heavens and the new earth. That means it's similar to what we have here, but it's a lot better because there's no sin to break it. In heaven, we'll have a heavenly version of all that we have here. The music, even at 11 o'clock at night. The food, the nature. Maybe even a heavenly Mount Princeton. A heavenly Hanauma Bay in Hawaii, and even a heavenly Mile High Stadium where God's team wins every single week. Who do the Broncos beat every single week in heaven? The Raiders. And you see how it ended there? It ends with this phrase, God will wipe away every tear and make all things new. He'll wipe away every tear and make all things new. Every broken heart is mended. Do you see what it didn't say? It doesn't say God makes us forget bad things. It's not like Men in Black where some wand gets put out. Just stare right into this. Are you ready? Good. Bling! And you forget everything. It says God will heal everything. He will show us how he took Romans 8. He takes everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the painful, the enjoyment, all of the things, and he works it out to the good of those who faithfully serve him according to his purpose. And it says he's going to bring you so much joy that you'll hardly remember the pain. Heaven's going to be awesome. But as Isaiah laments, nobody believes him. He's preaching this great news of a Messiah that's coming to save you. And today, just like in the days of Isaiah, people don't want to hear God's words because our hearts are inherently sinful. The message is true. And if that's true, then God gets to be God. I don't get to be God anymore. I don't get to be in charge anymore. And if I accept the message, it means I don't get to argue with God anymore. You could put it this way: faith is accepting what you cannot understand based on what you can understand. We can understand enough about the things of God. And I don't know the issue you have with God. It may be the way God revealed himself through the book of Isaiah. It may be, why does God let bad things happen to good people? It may be the fact that there is even a place called hell. But if you can see that there's sufficient evidence that Jesus is Lord, I just want to go back. Are you willing to doubt your doubts? Are you willing to turn away from your way and follow his way? Because faith is when the unexplainable meets the undeniable. What is undeniable is the prophecies throughout Scripture are divine. They tell a story about the life of the Messiah, Jesus, who is to come. They talk about the purpose of Jesus' life, the details to staggering specificity. I would encourage you to open your mind and think about it. Do not try to write all of these verses down because I'm going to go really fast. All of our sermons are available on YouTube. Go back, find this part, and write them all down. Listen. Scriptures tell us that the Messiah would be born of a virgin in Isaiah 7:4, from the line of Abraham in Genesis 22:18, a descendant of Judah, Genesis 49:10, from the household of David, Jeremiah 23:5. It also tells us that he would be born in Bethlehem, Micah 5:2, presented with gifts at his birth, Psalm 72:10, forced to flee an evil king who wanted to kill all the children in the region of Bethlehem, Jeremiah 31:15, be exiled to Egypt as a kid and return home to Israel from there, Hosea 11:1. This person who would come would function as the prophet, Deuteronomy 18:18, the priest, Psalm 110:4, and the king, Psalm 2:6. It also tells us in the Old Testament that he would be a teacher of parables, Psalm 78:2. He'd be preceded by a messenger crying out in the wilderness, Isaiah 43. Begin his ministry in Galilee, Isaiah 9:1. Perform many miracles, Isaiah 35:6. Enter Jerusalem on a borrowed donkey, Zechariah 9:9. And claim to be God with us, Isaiah 7:14. And how about the fact that Jesus fulfills 20 prophecies in one single day? Scripture tells us that the Messiah would be betrayed by a friend, Psalm 41:9, sold for 30 pieces of silver, Zechariah 11:12. The silver would be thrown into God's house and used to buy a potter's field, Zechariah 11:13. In the house before his death, he would be abandoned by his friends, Zechariah 13:7, be accused by false witnesses, Psalm 35:11, stand silent before his accusers when they taunted him, Isaiah 53:7, be wounded and bruised, Isaiah 53:5, be mocked, Psalm 22:7, be beaten and spat upon, Isaiah 56, have his garments be split up, be gambled for, Psalm 22:18, stagger under the weight of his affliction, Psalm 109:24. At his death on the cross, he would have his hands and feet pierced, Psalm 22:16, be executed together with criminals, Isaiah 53:12, experience great thirst, Psalm 69:21, pray for his persecutors, Isaiah 53:12, have his side pierced, Zechariah 12:10, despite great physical torment, not one of his physical bones would be broken, Psalm 34:20, die at midday, and during the hour of his death, darkness would come miraculously on the earth, Amos 8:9, be buried in a rich man's tomb, Isaiah 53:9, be resurrected to the Father's right hand and pour out gifts on his followers, Psalm 16:10 and 68:18. And my friends, that is the tip of the iceberg. And so maybe someone's thinking right now, that's just a convenient coincidence, Pastor Brett. Mathematicians, I know, you may, for those of you who don't know me, I have a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, so I've actually studied what we're about to talk about. I know it in great detail, because if you're going to be a pastor one day, you should have a math degree from your undergraduate studies. But the odds of all of this miraculously, harmoniously happening on one person is 10 to the 157th power. That is, for those of you who do not enjoy math, let me see your hands. Our prayer team will be available for you. I'm just kidding. That is 10 with 157 zeros. Let's put that in perspective. 10 to the power of 16, not 157. 16 would be like covering the state of Texas, yeehaw, in quarters 2 feet deep, paint 1 quarter orange on one side, throw it in there, mix them all up, get a monkey, put a blindfold on it, tell the monkey to grab a quarter, and that monkey grabs that quarter and brings it to you. That's the same as 10 to the 16. The prophecies that reflect all throughout the Old Testament are 10 to the 157th power. And again, being a degreed mathematician, statistics tell you that anything over 10 to the 50th, 1 in 10 to the 50th odds, is practically zero. It's Borel's law. You might say, well, what about all the other predictions in history, Pastor Brett? There was Nostradamus. He predicted that there would be Hitler. Have you ever read Nostradamus' predictions? They are incredibly vague, and a lot of them, most of them, were wrong. The prophecies in the Bible are given in great detail, and not one of them has ever been proven to be inaccurate. And that puts these prophecies in an entirely different category than anything else. And then you might say, oh, well, the gospel accounts have been doctored up by the early church, Pastor, to confirm the prophecies. Early Christians were like, I just found Zechariah, and it says that the Messiah would be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver. Let's add that to the Jesus story about Judas getting that from the religious leaders when he betrays Jesus. That might have been a way to get away with a few things. I will give you that. But most of the prophecies were outside of things humans could control. And it would have been very easy for the Roman Empire to refute them if it wasn't true. In fact, it would have been to their advantage. They had the power, they had the authority. So if they had the information, they would have written it down and made sure we knew about it. They could have easily said, cool. But Jesus wasn't born in Bethlehem. That's cool. Jesus didn't grow up in Nazareth. He never gave a guy named Judas 30 pieces of silver, but nobody ever refutes it. And the idea that the early church destroyed the conflicting accounts, they had no power. For 300 years, the Romans had the power, and the people in the early church had no authority, no power. They were outnumbered, and they were just vagabonds running around town. The Romans had the power. The early church had no power. And yet again, no one ever comes forward to challenge the validity of these claims in Scripture credibly. But then if you're honestly considering these things, you'd have to ask, what about if they just lied? What if they just made up the story? If you were going to make up a story, there would need to be motive, right? So when people are making up stories and lying, they're going to gain something. They're going to gain something from you or power over you. They're going to gain prestige. They're going to do it to escape pain. But that's exactly the opposite of what the early church leaders do. Their testimony, if you study the early church, is exactly the opposite of what happens if you're making it all up. Their testimony to the life of Jesus got them persecuted. Most of them lost their homes, and most of them lost their lives. And you think, well, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube die for a lie. That's true. But there's a difference between dying for a lie and dying for something you know is a lie. You guys ever heard of the guy Chuck Colson? Chuck Colson was a famous political operative. He was involved in the Watergate scandal. And kids, YouTube it. You probably weren't even born yet. But in it all, they fabricated a story to protect themselves. Here's what Chuck Colson said. We all knew it was a lie, but covenanted together to lie and not talk. 3 days is all we lasted. You're telling me a bunch of uneducated fishermen held out until their deaths? Blaise Pascal wrote it this way: witnesses who are willing to have their throats cut become believable. So what? What do we do with all of this? What do we do with the book of Isaiah? If it is credible, what should we do? If God has written us a love letter to show us what he was going to do in bringing healing and freedom and new life, what do you do with it? Well, I think you can do these 4 things. Write this first one down. Believe. Believe. Are you willing to doubt your doubts? There is no question God is afraid of. There is no accusation you could bring to God. He's like, oh no, you found the one. Listen to the end of the chapter. I love how she writes the end of this Isaiah passage. Did it sound maybe too good to be true? A story that ends happily ever after? Well, it does sound like a fairy tale, doesn't it? And as anyone will quickly tell you, fairy tales aren't true. Or are they? C.S. Lewis wrote many fairy tales about lots of things. All mankind's myths, he says, and fairy tales are expressions of a yearning deep in our hearts. This is the case, not because our hearts are making it up, but because they're hungering for the very thing they are created for. Something deep inside us yearns for this. I am a daughter's dad. I am my daughter's dad. My oldest, my first, the one that made me into a dad, my princess, she drugged me along to a lot of Disney movies. Anybody say hearty amen on that one? Right? You're like, I have all the plastic. Remember the old plastic ridged VHS tapes, right? You would open them. We wore those things out. I didn't love them, but she loved them, so I loved to go seeing them with her and sitting with her and watching her movies hundreds of times because she loved them. And one of her favorites is Beauty and the Beast, right? There's this ugly, disfigured man that's beyond human likeness because of a selfish, proud decision he had made. He's appalling to look at or even be around. It's a picture, honestly, of the human condition. And many of us feel like if people really saw what was on the inside, they would be appalled. So we keep people at a distance. We don't want to let people in. We don't want anybody to know our weaknesses. But on the flip side, we work out and we diet ridiculously to try and look good on the outside. And for many of us, right, that's never been this option because we have this talent, we have the good looks, we have the accomplishments. We try to accumulate money and possessions, and we try to make everybody attractive to us. We're desperate to get people to be attracted to us. We're trying to create Beauty in the Beast. Back to the VHS tape. Back to Beauty and the Beast. For Beast to be saved, Beauty has to kiss him. Remember this scene? But why in the world would she kiss the ugly guy? Because of love, sweet love, right? But Jesus takes it a step further. Jesus doesn't just kiss us in our ugliness. He becomes Beast in our place so we can look like Beauty now. And deep down, if you are honest with yourself, we all want that to be true. We all want that kind of love to exist. We all long for that kind of love, which is why that theme appears over and over and over again in fairy tales. So the first option of responding to God, I would encourage you to take, is believe, because it's true. Second one, write this down if you're taking notes. Keep preaching, even when people don't listen. Keep preaching, even when people don't listen. In Isaiah 6, Isaiah gets the most ridiculous commission. Go and preach to the world. People are not going to listen to you. Isaiah 53:1. Who has believed what he has heard from us? And to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? But see, Isaiah keeps preaching because the word will not return void. God has already reminded Isaiah 52:13. Behold, my servant shall act wisely. He shall be high and lifted up and shall be exalted. I promise you, Jesus did not go to all the trouble to die on a horrific cross and then turn around and not be active in saving people. Remember how many times you had to hear the gospel before you believed in Jesus? I don't care how many times you've already shared. Do what Isaiah does and just keep sharing. God doesn't hate them. God loves them. And he loves them too much to leave them there, and that's why he sent Jesus on a rescue mission for them. Believe, keep preaching regardless. Number 3, write this down. Trust God to change the heart. Trust God to change the heart. Chapter 52, verse 15. So shall he sprinkle many nations. Kings shall shut their mouths because of him. For that which has not been told them, they see, and that which they have not heard, they understand. You see, it's our job to share the gospel, the good news. It's our role to tell the story and our story. It's always God's plan and God's power to change people. God's going to sprinkle his power on them and give them sight. And that's what we pray for, the outpouring of God's power in their lives. But we should not talk to people about God before we talk to God about those people. When was the last time we prayed for those people? Last response I want you to take as we walk out of Isaiah today is this. Write this down if you're taking notes. Take it to the ends of the earth. Take it to the ends of the earth. Chapter 52, verse 7, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who publishes peace, who brings good news of happiness, who publishes salvation, who says to Zion, your God reigns. You see, God invites you and he invites me, if we are in relationship with him through Jesus, to go and proclaim this message. We get to go around the world and tell everyone, our God reigns. A couple of years ago, I went to Benin, which is in West Africa, and they flew me into Cotonou, and we did a revival. And at the end of the first night, as I was up here preaching, a bunch of people were in the back of the room, like huddling together. And I'm thinking, is my preaching really that bad that you all are already getting ready to send me back to America? And I get done with, and I go back there, and they're like, Pastor Brett, you must preach every night while you're here. I'm like, well, I have nothing else. Like, you don't have internet. I don't have connections to my iPad. What in the world will I share? Then they said, well, tomorrow we're going to take you to a village to show you what the work that we've been involved with. And so I got on the back of a motorcycle and we rode to a village. And when we got to the village, there was a group of people just like this sitting under a tin roof waiting for me to preach. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to preach here. Well, I guess we're using what we had last night. Loaded up the sermon and started preaching. They took me back to Cotonou and they brought me to a village. And it looked just like this, had a tin roof on top. And they said, Pastor Brett, go at it. So sometimes when I would preach, I was in a village with people that wanted to hear. Sometimes I was in a village the people had never heard. Sometimes the people had been waiting hours for my arrival. And other times, people wanted nothing to do with Jesus. As soon as I mentioned the word Jesus, they would get up and leave. Thank you guys for not doing that. Who's going to take the gospel to the ends of the earth? We have the good news. We don't have to face the judgment that Jesus is going to bring one day. We're only going to experience the healing that he has for you and for me if you're willing to doubt your doubts and accept Jesus. Would you pray? Heavenly Father, we stop today and we just wait upon you. Just like when Isaiah stood in front of those people and proclaimed the good news, the Messiah is coming. God, we already know he's already come. We can look into the historical evidence, the intellectual, archaeological evidence. And we could find that all of our answers are going to point to the fact that Jesus is exactly who he claims to be. The Son of God, who came on a rescue mission to save the world. The Messiah, the one that is to be king, but wouldn't come with his sword drawn, but would come with his arms wide open. And would save the world not through the power and authority, not through wealth and prestige, but through the suffering servant. If today you're listening, and maybe just maybe you're willing to doubt your doubts right now, and you're willing to acknowledge the fact that the reason you do not have a relationship with God through his son Jesus is because if it's true, then he's in charge. I just want you to consider the cost. Do you want to live the rest of your life with the emotions and feelings that make you feel good? Or do you want to go with the creator of the universe, the one that breathed life into your lungs, the one that designed you on purpose, for purpose, with a purpose, and wants to reveal that purpose in and through you? So maybe today is the day of what Scripture calls salvation for you. The day when you are saved, you're healed. And if that's what you want, Scripture tells us there's just a prayer of acceptance, not earning anything from God, but receiving from him in this moment. So if that's you today and you want a relationship with God the Father through his Son, Jesus Christ, just simply say something like this. Nothing magical about the prayer. God, I admit I have a problem. That problem is sin, that I like to do things my way. But today I believe that Jesus is the answer to my problem. He's the only answer. And that answer is that he paid the price for the punishment I deserve. That instead of me paying the price on that cross, Jesus died on the cross. And that he rose from the dead 3 days later, triumphantly defeating death once and for all. And today I confess Jesus is my Lord, he's in charge, and he's my Savior. He is the hope that I hold on to. Say this: thank you for saving me. So God, we love you. We thank you for what you're doing. And it's in Jesus' name we pray all these things. Amen.